We all hear a lot of talk about how changing your thinking can impact your success. Now, assuming that you found this to be true, what are the most important changes you've made in how you think from the time you started until now, and how has this impacted your success? I thought maybe, Adela, we could hear from you first on this one.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just going to share one because I know loads of folks have great stuff. The biggest thing that I did was I changed my internal conversation, what I call the inner game. I started by paying attention to what I was saying to myself all the time, and I noticed that a lot of what I was doing was focusing on what was wrong instead of what was right. And that made a huge shift in what was possible for me as I started focusing on what I did that was great, what I did that was wonderful, and really started paying attention to the internal conversation, especially that perfection posture that hangs out inside of me.
We can all relate to that. Okay, that's great. Very powerful, actually. Marnie, how about you jumping in on this?
Yeah, I think the big thing that changed for me is the way I started to see my ideas. Rather than, I'd have a lot of ideas and I'd think I'd have to implement those immediately. And every idea that I had, I thought I had to do something with it. And I had a coach that told me once, Marnie, you don't need to make money off of everything that you can make money on. Just because you can make money on it doesn't mean you should. And so I started to get very clear on my purpose and my message, and then it helped me weed out the ideas that were outside of that, and then realize that ideas are like seeds, and they grow over time, and some of them need a little time just to germinate and sort of sit there a while, and they can come on out when they're ready to.
So, Marnie, do you have a system when you get ideas? Do you have a system for tracking those ideas so you don't forget about them and maybe come back to them in the future?
Yeah, I'm very big on journaling, and then I also keep a master list of ideas and things, and so I can see when they first came along, and I've had ideas that took 10 years to turn around and be something, and they were big when they came around, but you kind of have to give them time to percolate and germinate like seeds.
Excellent, excellent. Bob, what's your take on this question?
Well, Janice, I think that the biggest thing that changed for me was having the kick in the ass that said, I have stuff of value, and I didn't have to look outward to find other things that could be sold. And initially I was trying to promote network marketing companies, affiliate programs, everything else. And once I realized that I had the information that people would be willing to pay and pay well for, then my business started to grow. And I could rely on my knowledge, my information, my experience to move my business forward. That was a big change in my mindset that helped me out.
So it sounds like a kind of boost in confidence, but also a realization that you didn't have to sell other people's products. You could sell your own.
That's right. And I still do recommend other people's products and do quite well with it. But I do even better with affiliate marketing once I understood that people were coming to me for my answers to the challenges that they were facing. And once I had the confidence in that, it helped me to grow much quicker.
That's really great because I find a lot of people really are struggling to get that confidence to know that you think your information is very basic, but to other people it's not because they don't have that information. They need it from you. So that's really great. Yeah, thanks, Bob. Felicia, what changed in your thinking or your mindset from the time you started up to today?
Well, I'm one of the, kind of rare people that I always thought I could do well. Sounds goofy. I was raised. Thank you for laughing. I was really raised with you could grow up and you could do anything you want to do, and I just believe that. But really, I guess one of the biggest things that I changed was when I first started, I was going to work with everybody. I was going to coach everybody because everybody needs to know how to communicate. And I quickly realized that how do you get a hold of everybody? Where is everybody hanging out? And what language does everybody speak, right? So that was my biggest shift, I think, since from when I started thinking I was going to take over the world, everybody. but where they were, or who they were, or anything. So once I got clear on my audience, it was real easy to get clear on the message and know who I was going to be working with and helping. And that's as things evolved for me, it very quickly happened once I made those decisions.
I think that's really excellent advice because I see that over and over. Everybody starts out and they think they have to be everything to everybody or they won't make enough money. And the truth is, the more you find your tribe, as Adela loves to say, the more money you make and the more successful you are. So that's great, a great insight. So, Shannon, I know you to be very focused and confident. Was that your mindset from day one?
I'm not a mindset girl, so I couldn't tell you what my mind was thinking because I learned, like you, Janice, I come from a theater background, and when I started doing professional theater as a young teen, there was one thing that I learned, and it's one thing that's carried me through my business, through my life, through my business. And Bob will like this one because it's kind of a play on his Take Action book, but it's do it wrong, but do it strong. Because if you're on, Janice, if you're on stage, you can't, with an audience, if you make a mistake, you have to keep going. Mm-hmm. And so the big thing for me was, no matter what I was doing, I had the right attitude to get it done and do it strongly. So it didn't look like that much of a mistake, even if it was one.
Yeah, so, did you have that mindset from the beginning? Was there when you first started out, were there things that you learned in terms of the way you thought about your business that changed the results you were getting?
My business evolved as the internet evolved. When I started my business, it was a traditional sort of brick and mortar PR firm. And when I saw people, I saw opportunities. And when I saw people saying, well, I can't afford your services, but I really want to work with you, I saw an opportunity to start teaching public relations and marketing. So it just kind of evolved from there. It's looking, I guess I just was very lucky and saw the opportunities as they can. And then when I did make a mistake, it didn't quite look like I was because I was doing it strong.
Yeah.
Do it wrong, but do it strong.
I love that. I love that saying. I'm going to borrow that, Shannon.
Okay. Well, I did steal it from my drama teacher, so there you go.
Excellent. So I guess I'll chime in now, and I want to be totally honest in answering this question. I think one of the first things I realized was that changing your thinking is ongoing. I don't think any of us ever get to the point where we don't have some new mental roadblock that comes up that we have to overcome, and that it's kind of like peeling an onion. So first you peel away the most disruptive thought patterns, the ones that may be blocking you, and then you start to learn how to recognize when you're getting your own way and what that feels like so you can keep removing obstacles. One of the things I used to do, I think when I started my business, which is kind of bizarre because I'd owned other successful businesses, was I thought I was thinking small. And with each business I've owned, I've learned to think a little bigger, be a little bit more confident. Thinking big is really important. I think another mindset issue that I had to overcome was thinking I had to work really, really hard to live in abundance. And I realized that that's just not the case. I think when you change that mindset about money, you're very grateful for what you have, but you stop being afraid that there won't be enough. You'll always be able to make all the money that you need to make with your idea. And I also started to be really willing to invest in my business in a big way and invest in mentoring. And I think that also made me more open and generous in my life, and I think the results are quite amazing. I worked hard to learn to think that I truly deserve success. When I first started as a business owner 22 years ago, I don't think I was convinced I could be as successful as I've been. I think I also had to stop. I think as women, we tend to be a little bit on the people-pleasing side. We're kind of brought up that way. So, stop being a people-pleaser and start thinking about your goals and going after your goals, and know the people that are attracted to you will come to you. Slowly but surely, you keep peeling back the onion, and one day you wake up and you say, wow, this is incredible. I've had a complete mindset shift. And that's a very, very powerful feeling.